Fighting games can be pretty intense. Some of us go at it completely alone, while others need a little bit of help in patching up. Thankfully, there's always the fighter's first aid kit. There are many myths within fighting games, ranging from secret boss characters all the way down to special finishing moves. But few have had as big of an impact as the myth of priority. Priority in this meaning refers to the idea that there are some moves which the game will totally prioritize over others in a conflict. Seen from this viewpoint, you could mitigate risk by selectively opting for high priority moves in the neutral game. Thankfully, we have, over the last couple of episodes, learned that this simply isn't true. Instead of relying on some sort of mystical idea of priority, we now know that which moves will win in any given situation is a combination of the move's speed, explained by the frame data, and its area of effect, explained by its hit and hurt boxes. However, you are still bound to run across people mentioning priority in some form, pretty much regardless of what sort of fighting game you end up playing. So in the interest of reducing confusion, let's look at what that actually means with a couple of instances of real bona fide priority. One of the most clear-cut examples of actual hard-coded priority can be found in Sega's Virtua Fighter series, where strikes always beat throw attempts regardless of frame disadvantage. This practically means that in order for a grab attempt to be completely guaranteed, the opponent has to be at a disadvantage number high enough to cover the entire windup of the attempted throw. This runs very contrary to how most fighting games process these interactions. That is, entirely with frame data and hitboxes. However, even if your chosen game relies entirely on these two categories to work out what move wins in any given situation, it is not entirely foolproof. I mean, what happens when two moves connect at the exact same time? In most games, this occurrence creates what is called a trade, short for trading blows, where both characters get hit at the same time. But some games, like certain iterations of the Street Fighter series and Killer Instinct, utilize a button strength priority system. In these games, overlapping attacks hitting on the exact same frame only create a trade if both attacks are of the same strength. If one attack, say one from the light punch button, hits on the same frame as one from the medium punch, then the medium will always come out on top. And this goes for medium versus heavy as well. In Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, there's actually a special priority given to super attacks, which are granted status even above heavy. A very similar system is in place in most 2D games, however, when it comes to throws versus strikes. Because throws cannot by nature create a trade, they tend to be given priority if a strike and throw connect on the same frame. This same idea is also extended to more special options like command throws, where the priority tree ends up looking a bit like this. Command throws will beat basic throws on a trade, and basic throws will beat strikes. This practically means that some 2D games that offer throws with instantaneous startup have systems in which a throw will beat a strike even if that strike is already active when the throw is initiated. Speaking of throwing, Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube offers a very unique spin on priority with a system tied entirely to which controller ports are currently in use. Ports on the GameCube console are assigned a number from 1 to 4, all of which correspond to a couple of different outcomes in certain key occurrences within the game, like spawn positions for example. They also, however, affect how the game prioritizes grabs that occur on the same frame, meaning that the player on the lower port, that is closer to 0, will always win in a trading situation. This, funnily enough, counts for both grabbing the opponent and grabbing hold of the ledge. On top of this, a higher port player grabbing a lower port causes the last frame of the throw animation to practically be skipped, giving you a strictly better version of the throw, even if your opponent is playing the same identical character. Those were just a couple examples of the myriad things that priority can actually mean within different fighting games. It might seem a bit daunting, so it can be good to remember that these priority systems are generally only in place to deal with pretty fringe situations. Try looking up what priority system your game has. Is it a very impactful one, like Virtua Fighters, or is it something very minute, like in Street Fighter? Maybe knowing how it works lets you better gauge what the least risky option will be on defense if you choose to attack.